this stuff is really some dangerous propaganda, and we've all heard some really stupid things said by these guys, but you let me know if you think, because this is one of the dumbest things I have ever heard. This was last night, as of right now, last night, November 16th, 2015.
If this is now the strategy, what does it mean for policymakers as they try to think about countering that?
Well, I think in Syria and Iraq, the Obama administration actually has the right policy. It's put a lot of pressure on the organization, and I think that's one big reason why it's shifted towards terrorist attacks abroad. It's a sign of weakness.
Anybody with a brain who's been paying attention to this stuff, the official narrative is that Obama is screwing up his Middle East policy as a joke. It's created all this stuff, and in fact, our own congressmen are telling Obama to lead this thing or resign. And then this guy goes on even further to say that the fact that they went abroad and attacked abroad was because it's a sign of weakness. So that means whenever they supposedly came over here in 9/11 and attacked, that attacking abroad, it was a sign of weakness. So whenever they attacked Charlie Hebdo and all that crap a few months ago in Paris, and they had the whole place on edge, and they did that, and then security was enforced, and this whole global, martial law in France and all this kind of crap, and then running the streets and roaming the streets and all this kind of stuff, the authorities were in place. They did this again. It's because it's a sign of weakness, huh? That's why our friends and family are never going to listen to us, because they're listening to this guy, and they're listening to Msnbc, and they're listening to Fox and all the mainstream media and all this kind of stuff. They can't grasp that these people are lying, and I mean the worst and most amazing ways, let alone to say, hey, there is no ISIS, there is no Republican, there is no Democrat, there is no Russia against China, Russia against the United States, and China against the United States, and North Korea against South Korea. There is none of that. It's all a stage. Like the guy they teach in school called Shakespeare. Just like they teach in school, Shakespeare, who says all the world is a stage. Because it is. There is one group of people that's doing all this stuff. So no wonder they can't grasp that, because they can't even grasp that this dude is, oh my gosh, it's a sign of weakness that they're striking abroad. I went to, let me just, that's it for this. The rest is a rant, so I don't want to keep everybody, so if you're interested in the rant, hang around. Can you see that? Yeah, I'm just going to get to it. There it is, right here. I live in the St. Louis area on the Illinois side, and our local news is, the St. Louis News, okay? It's where everybody gets their news and information from. This guy right here, his name is Jamie Allman. He's on the news. He has his own news show every night for a half hour. A few years ago, in 2011, I was going to school for radio broadcasting. And I was doing really, really good at it. The last thing my teacher told me before I quit was that I was leading and kicking ass in the class and leading everybody ahead of everybody, progressing quicker than everybody, as usual, because that's what he told me all the time. He even said, as usual. And I interviewed this guy, this Jamie Allman, on the phone, because that's part of what you have to do when you're trying to do the degree, is you have to go out and interview all these news personalities and this and that, and then edit the show, and you have to produce this 5-minute segment. This guy liked me so much that his people emailed me like a couple weeks after the interview took place, and he wanted to do it again, and he wanted to talk to me, and told me that after I finished the program at the school that I would have a position there. Well, what happened is that shortly after that, I was kind of slowly waking up as all this was going on, as I was doing all this stuff. And while I was on, which was great for me because it was fun, because I got to go on the radio every week for a couple hours, and it was a lot of fun to talk about this stuff. But unfortunately for me, I didn't know exactly what I was talking about, and so I was playing the game and playing the sides and this and that. But it was shortly after all that took place, and after I was notified by this guy and everything, that it was all a joke. And that I knew that there was no way I was going to be able to get on the news and really have a future in that business, telling everybody that it's all a scam. You know, quit voting, it's all controlled. I wasn't even at the part that they were all occultic Satanists and all that stuff. I had no idea about Saturn and none of that stuff, but I knew that it was all, I learned that it was all a scam. So I quit. And it sucks, but I work at a grocery store now and I can barely keep my mouth shut. I'm getting better at it because I've learned that I don't know why I continue to do it. I never get the response I want to get, which I don't know what I'm really looking for. I guess you just expect people to care, and they don't. And so I've kind of just learned to it's hard. Gosh, especially in Illinois now, they have that whole school just a few hours north, and the Department of Education is telling that school district in Chicago to either have mixed sex bathrooms or lose the funding. I told that to a couple people and they don't care and they think it's all a joke, and it's tough. So my point being is that I can't keep my mouth shut. I have a hard time doing it at a grocery store. Even if I would have just kept doing that degree and just would have kept my mouth shut, in the news business, I never would have been able to make it, because if I would have worked with that Jamie Allman guy, you know, I would have told him I wouldn't be able to do it. I guarantee I would have been fired one way or another. I never would have been able to work in that business again, because I would have told that guy, let's just say just for fun, if I would have made it all the way up to this point, I would have told that guy, you know, you go on air with that story and say that ISIS did this stuff. I'm coming on with you, and I will interrupt and take that news broadcast over. So, hey, at your risk, but if you want to go on there and you want to tell the world to vote, and you want to tell the world that ISIS did this, go ahead. But I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a breaking news update from your boy Tony. Ugh. Yeah, I think that's it. It's just, I don't know. I mean, they play on people's heartstrings, which gets them not to think critically, but some of the stuff, especially now, it's just, you don't even have to use your heartstrings. You don't even have to use your feelings. You just got to use common sense. How many people on YouTube have been saying that this stuff is going to happen? Hey, dipshits, you can't open the borders like that. You can't just do that. You open the door, then people that you don't want in there are going to come through, which you know about, because at this point, you're just dumb, as dumb can be, or you're doing this all on purpose. And if you're really that dumb, well, what's that say for the populace that are voting you in there, huh? Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. It helps. It really does. So if these videos help people, because sometimes people say that, and that's great, and I'm not expecting that. I'm like occult science, man. I don't care. I don't want to thank you. I mean, that's cool. I appreciate it when people say that stuff. That's nice and it's encouraging and stuff like that. But I'm not on here for fame, and I'm not on here for thank yous. I'm just here because I'm pissed, and I do care, like a lot of people really do out there. And this is just my therapy. This is what keeps me from blowing up and hurting myself, because like I'm really frustrated at work. I've already spoke my mind a couple times, and it's been great. It really, you know, nothing's changed, but it feels good, and those guys know not to mess with me. But, you know, I gotta get off here. I'm just disappointed in everybody I know, pretty much. You know, it's just disappointing to see that it goes down this way. I think that's the biggest part, is I'm just really disappointed in just about everybody. Not everybody, but just about. A big majority. Okay, yep. That's it. Thank you for everybody, to my subscribers, for listening. I really appreciate it, because if this helps you, these videos help you, well, you all help me. So, thanks very much.